Well, it is the 27th day of October 2022. President William Ruto's cabinet has been sworn in, and it's day one of the full Kenya Kwanza government. All eyes now shift to delivery of the campaign promises made by the president, and the men and women he has selected to work in government hold the key to the success of this government. Now, how to revive a battered economy will be at the top of the agenda. Every ins and outs will be keenly followed and felt. Tonight, on Front and Center, we have a full house to discuss this government, dubbed the Hustler Cabinet, and the politics around it. With us tonight was supposed to be UDA's Wanjiku Mohia, who has had to drop off for an emergency, the MP for period that was. Also joining us is ODM's Caleb Hamisi, thankfully is here, second-time MP of Saboti. Karibu to have you. We also have on the program this evening, Nimrod Bai. I am told is the only UDA MP from Lower Eastern or Kitui East MP. Karibu sana.
Okay.
And last but not least, the independent and vibrant woman rep from Migori County, Fatuma Mohammed.
Thank you.
You can send your thoughts and questions. Ladies, gentlemen, let's set the stage with what the president said today, early today. Right, we will get to that. But let me just start off. But there was, supposedly with you, Caleb, you're in this, selections. You start through hours and hours on end. You had some interesting things to say that we follow that time. But what do you generally think of this cabinet?
Yeah, first of all, I think this was the first vetting that was not just vetted by the members of the appointment committee, but it was vetted by the entire country. It was live coverage throughout the vetting, from the first nominee to the 24th nominee. It was live. So Kenyans vetted this cabinet. We received comments. Some of those questions we were actually sent by Kenyans. I received thousands of questions on my mobile phone. Kenyans asking, various nominees from things that they think they should provide answers so that they can judge for themselves. So as we speak, whether the committee passed them, whether the parliament has approved them, but trust me, Kenyans have already have their results. So it's not very possible to know what is the results from Kenyans, maybe by a popular vote, but out there Kenyans already judge them. Okay. Whatever the parliament has done, we had our minority report, we had our reservations, we had issues with a number of nominees, from their basic, knowledge to the docket they are going to hold, to the integrity, ability. Those are the parameters under which you are supposed to vet them. So we did our report. We believe that a number of them do not have the moral authority, the capacity, the professional acumen to really hold the offices that they have been appointed for. But again, we are in a democracy, and the numbers carry the day. We are disadvantaged by numbers, and the numbers carry the day in parliament.
Yes. And you don't have those numbers.
And we didn't have the numbers. So we really need to really look at this whole issue of vetting, because we vet, we waste taxpayers' money sitting hours. Remember, I used to wake up at 6 a.m.
Okay.
By 8 we have started. I used to arrive home by 10 in the evening.
Then you have to do the next day.
And then I have to, for 7 days, for 2 days writing of the reports. And all this, we are told, is hot air. At the end of the day,
yes,
it is numbers that matter.
Hang on to this. I now have the bite of the president early this morning. Let's play it to set the stage for this conversation.
Good people, I have told you what is right. We have agreed what is right. So if you don't do it, you will not only miss heaven, but you will have a problem with me.
Let's get the thoughts of Mr. Mbai. You're earlier on in the PG for Kenya Kwanza, but generally, just setting the stage, what do you think and feel generally about this cabinet, the Hustler cabinet?
One of the strengths of the Hustler cabinet is these are people who really understand the Hustler plan. You know, the president was out there campaigning on a platform of the Hustler plan, which he launched in Kasarani. And most of the people, actually 100% of the cabinet, the 24 members, were all in his campaign team. And they internalized the plan. And not alone internalizing, but also they believed in it. So these are people the president chose wisely from an array of a big team, but people who really understand the plan the president wants to implement to Kenyans. And also they believe in it. So it will be very easy for them to perform. Secondly, I also believe in the capacity of majority of them, not unless some prove us otherwise. You know, you never know. You can't know someone 100%, but majority of them have the requisite qualifications and ability to perform in the various ministries they've been nominated to and been appointed to. So I would echo the president. We expect nothing less from them. And if you don't get it right, yes, I'll be okay with the president having a problem with them.
Okay, Fatuma.
Yes.
What is your view of this cabinet?
My disappointment comes to the gender. When he was campaigning, he made promises. And he doesn't know whether he voted for him, whether you voted for him, whether you voted for him. The promise was for Kenyans. And the number one was, from the way he said it, it was a 50-50 government. Where a boy stands, a girl will be next. Then came the cabinet, and he chose very few of us. I thought, because I saw when President Ruto won, the first person who walked into that Bomas was his mother, a woman. The next person I saw was his wife, a woman. Then I saw his daughters, and I said, okay, now this is going to be good for us. I am very sure many women are disappointed. But it is not over yet. We still have other positions that are going to be given out.
Yeah.
And I'm urging him. Something has already happened, he cannot swallow it back. But can he just correct it by giving more women these other positions? I am a woman. I am requesting as a woman, as a mother. And generally, where women are, things do go well. I am not saying my brothers do go wrong. But I'm saying where the country is, we have been fighting for this gender issue. And I expected, President Ruto is also a young person. Though he's not as young as the age of 35 and below, who are supposed to be called the young people. But where are the youth in his government? The word hustler is for the youth. My mother cannot be a hustler. It is the youth, us and below me.
But to be fair,
who are the hustlers?
They're more youthful than, you know, the Azimio plan, you know, which was there before.
Sorry, what did you say?
They're more youthful than, you know, if you're to convince.
More youthful in which manner? Because the cabinet was there. The first appointment he has done is the cabinet. Mention for me the youth who is there by name. Because youth is 35 and above. His campaign was purely agenda number 1, hustler. Agenda number 2, hustler. Agenda number 3, hustler. Then came Mama Mboga. Well, he chose, because these are usually rewards for who you are in this Murengo where they were. So rewards come. But then even if you are rewarding, you talked of Mama Mboga. Even when he went to the States, he talked of Mama Mboga. As much as he was giving out the seats to politicians who supported that Murengo, he should have picked one woman. There's a woman somewhere who has a degree, who has a diploma, because I saw even D- was okay. Actually, there is no educational background that is needed in this position. This is a political position.
Yeah.
I expected him just to pick one Mama Mboga where we would go and say, oh my God, huyo mama alikuwa nauzaga kikomba, ndiye amechukua. That is what I expected. So internally, I am really disappointed, and I'm urging him, in the next one, think of a Mama Mboga. If you truly mean your word of a hustler, pick a kijana who is a boda and make him a PS. They have degrees, true degrees. They have more than D-. They have B+ and A's. Your promise was for Kenyans, was not for Kenya Kwanza. Okay. Because now he's a president of Kenya, not Kenya Kwanza. So I am urging him, consider women Anytime you look at your mother, remember they are women. Anytime you turn this way and see Mama Rachel, remember they are women. And then when you see your daughters and sons, then remember the youth. So the youth and the women, to be honest, so far, we have not been considered.
Okay. Now, speaking of women, you had one problem with just one candidate, and some quarters, Penina Malonza, some candidates are like, this is bias, from, not on the committee, that it's the woman who was picked on, and there were other, men who had other problems. What was the issue with Penina Malonza?
Yeah, maybe we need to know who are these other men who had the problem. Because the vetting committee does not just vet out of the blues. We have parameters, threshold to consider from the ability to manage the docket that you have been promoted to, your academic prowess, your background in terms of your profession, and your integrity. So there are so many factors you weigh. And these are intelligence members of parliament who have been elected. When they zero down, and I told you very well from the start, from the outset, that the vetting was by Kenyans. And the responses we got, in fact, there are some candidates who performed exemplary, and Kenyans were happy. Remember, we are a people's representative. We get feedback.
So who performed exemplarily well? According to the feedback that you have?
People like this former governor for Kwale. Is it
Salim
Kwale?
Mvurya.
Salim Mvurya.
All right.
Salim Mvurya embraced us. I mean, the guy knew what his docket entails. The guy knew all about blue economy, what is all about, maybe because he comes from coast.
Okay.
On top of that, he's a two-term governor, and his wealth, you can see, is close to a hustler, because the others have amassed a lot of wealth in the times they've been in public service, but two-term governor is just 120. There's no corruption cases against his name. There's no public, affidavit filed against him. The response from the public is good. You go to people like Professor Kindiki, he knew what he really wants to do in that. His response towards the current Keto Rasolin was impressive. You see ladies like ladies for environment, Soipan, and I said, we always condemn and, bastardize the corrupt. But we never celebrate those who have been in the public service and they have never, gone into public office. That lady had a very, pure CV from integrity. She has no corruption case against her. She has been a member of parliament. She had an opportunity to steal, but she didn't. We need to start now celebrating those people who have been in the public and they have come out clean. We always come out and, start to demonize the corrupt. We admonish the corrupt, but we never come and celebrate those who are non-corrupt. So I think it is now we need to start thinking about celebrating and parading. The so-called we start awarding very funny characters presidential awards. What are they for? We should now be awarding those who have been in the public service and there are no cases against them. Corruption. Maybe that's how Kenyans will start treating corruption. And there are others who performed very well. So really, this was not a vetting of a few committees. Trust me. Kenyans were glued to the television. They were watching. If you do a random search or a random opinion in each one of those candidates, a Kenyan, even tomorrow, do a show and ask Kenyans one by one in each one of those candidates, you will see that the report of the minority represented the real feeling of Kenyans. Remember, they're not going to serve the few select members of parliament. They're going to serve 50 million Kenyans.
Okay. I want to take my first break because we've set the stage. When I come back, we want to talk about what was the problem with Penina Malonza with the rest of the panel. And then move this further about the questions that the politics moving forward. What's going to happen? You're watching Front and Center.
Your Excellency, sir, before you is a team of investors ready to be awarded. Anthony, Celebration Gardens, Kitengela.
Anthony, congratulations. You too can own land today.
Become a Shujaa today by buying a value-added property that come with water, electricity. For every 910,000 that you deposit or place as installment towards your property, we give you 10k cashback or an equivalent Shujaa shopping voucher. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Cabling tips. Use cables from a reputable manufacturer made from 99.99% pure copper and the best insulation. Use a certified installer, Scratch, to verify and authenticate your cables. And now we bring you the Fundibora loyalty program. Scratch, verify and earn Fundibora points. Redeem accumulated points for exciting gifts including airtime, cables voucher, motorbikes. East African Cables. Total peace of mind.
Learn in a minute. Brought to you by Nivea Lumina 630 Anti-Dark Mark Serum.
What exactly is exfoliation? Why should you do it? Hi, my name is Emma and this is Learn in a Minute. Exfoliating is a process of scrubbing away dead cells that gather on the uppermost layer of your skin. Now, most experts advise that you exfoliate 2 to 3 times per week. Your skin is like a baby, so you must scrub gently when exfoliating. Exfoliation can really improve the complexion and smoothness of your face so you can achieve that glowing skin faster. It also helps for your serum and moisturizer to be absorbed well into the skin. After exfoliating, apply your Nivea Luminous 630 Anti-Dark Mark Serum and day cream to ensure that your rainbow shines through. Remember, Nivea Luminous 630 starts working from day 1 and visible results in just 2 weeks. My name is Emma and this is Learn in a Minute.
Learn in a Minute. Brought to you by Nivea Lumina 630 Anti-Dark Mark Serum.
Nivea Lumina 630 works from day 1 with visible results in just 2 weeks and 71% dark marks reduction in 12. Join the 1 million women already using the #1 Lumina 630 from Nivea.
Words can only get you so far. My tasting notes for Black Label are as follows. But if you prefer words, I'd say sweet toffee, rich fruit, finished in smoke.
The biggest television event of 2022. The world's most watched sport. The biggest names in football. Every team. The build-up. The venues, the stars, the controversy, as the world does battle for the greatest trophy of all. This is the pinnacle of football. 40 premium episodes of Destination Qatar.
This week we go ham. It's energy-packed in an all-exclusive show. Fresh from Chic magazine cover, Tiwa Savage is back on the trend. Stand up for the Kigeugeu hitmaker who's about to release his claws. It's Jaguar, people. It's getting even more sassy with the gifted queens, GQ dancers.
majani tunapenda mhogo.
On the decks, playing your favorite tunes, it's DJ E. On the socials, it's the noisy neighbor Osoro Mbuyamono. Your host, Amina Abdi Rabah.
Wacha.
Great music, fantastic hosts, and great guests. The Trend, only on NTV.
The Trend, in association with Tusker.
All right, welcome back. Front and center, discussing current affairs, what has happened. Obviously, the cabinet is a big thing. I want to dispose of on this matter, on why Penina Malonza was a massive problem. Fatima, I have to come to you.
Thank you for coming to me.
Yes.
I must say that truly, the lady was not that bad. What happened, first of all, she was being interviewed. She was being interviewed by members of parliament. All Kenyans were watching. TVs all over. You get tensed.
But you're here, you're not tensed.
You get tensed.
You're not
we are all remember, I'm not
Mm.
being interviewed by them.
Okay.
I'm being interviewed by you. I am a member of parliament just like them. Penina was not a member of parliament. Penina, majority of the people interviewing Penina
the deputy governor.
were even men. Remember, the interview on microphone in the village is different from the interview we do in parliament. So the fact that she was threatened a bit does not mean that she was bad. If anything, she was one woman who was very clean, has been a deputy governor. That means her experience is good. She had a good degree, a clean one, I'm very sure very good grades. She has done, I think, anthropology. I mean, she knew that is her area, wildlife is her area. But the fact that a question came and she was not prepared for the question and she didn't answer it to their expectation did not make her a bad performer.
So was the committee harsh in that sense? Because then what they've done is they've put her name in front of the public as sort of like a failure, quote unquote.
And if you have a pen, write it down. One of the person who will perform best will be that Penina, because she was so harshly judged for a small mistake, you know. There were people who they should have spent more time on, grilling and questioning, why is this in court? Why is it? It's not necessary now to mention because they've already passed and they've already been sworn in. It will add no
water
value.
under the bridge.
Yeah. Even if I say one is what, it will not change anything. Okay. But this harsh thing they're putting on Penina, it is like Penina did everything wrong. No. But then again, it is not just Penina. Even Aisha Juma went through a lot there. And I think not in a bad way. But I must say it here with confidence that I'm a feminist. And so I fight for my fellow women. Aisha Juma, they sat on her education so that the whole world could hear Aisha got a D-. All the questions was on, what did you get? How did you get? What did you get? They did not ask her much about what are you going to do with this docket.
Right.
And so it was like addressing the women, which I think my dear brothers should at least go slow on us. Remember, our background in African society, where we are now is by the grace of God. We have never had this kind of opportunity where women are even given the position. So when you are given, you practice to get used to it. There have been ministers for years, ever before independence they were there, they are still there, more were in the house. Even in the panel that was interviewed, there were more men. So sometimes you can get threatened, but that should not be how you judge Penina. I am telling you Penina will perform. That small issues that happen should not make it an outcry that everybody Penina, parliament Penina, community Penina. Oh, it was unfair to her.
Right.
And I think, in fact, in parliament, it went to an extent where a member of parliament even said, maybe she was in her periods. You see that kind of harshness. When this man,
that was totally uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, they're being so harsh on her, on us. And I'm reminding them that without us, it will be difficult for them, because we are the ones who bring peace. We are the ones who pray for them. You know, these men don't know that from the moment they are born, they are our children. Even one who is older than me is still my child. So Penina will make a very good cabinet. And her hands are clean, her educational background is good, her experience is good. One simple question should not disqualify her.
What she needs to remind Kenyans is that the member who said maybe she was in a period is a Kenya Kwanza minority whip, majority whip. And the member who presented her rejection is also the majority leader.
But we have to say it was wrong.
Okay.
It was totally uncalled for.
Yes. So now the people who are defending her are what? Azimio. This is where now people respect women in Azimio. But this other side, they don't.
We will come to the Azimio and Kenya Kwanza politics, but I need to have your say on the question of
You can see from their term.
My friend, you know, I have 2-3 issues. First, the judging from the report. I went through the report. The whole report done on every member, and I concentrated on the report about Penina. Then there was a summary. You know, you do the way you do the report, then there's a 2-paragraph summary. This summary is what condemned Penina. The report, if somebody was to mark for Penina without the summary from the members, using the body of the report, you will give Penina would have scored very highly. So the report was so different from the summary. But because they never wanted to table the whole report, they never read the whole report, they just came up with a summary which was condemning Penina. Now Penina was judged based on, you know, somebody can walk in, they don't have one arm, and you start, the camera is focusing on that side where the person is the side where the guy doesn't have an arm, and you are like, this guy is disabled, he can't perform, he can't do it. And while you forget there is a whole body, you know, we need to go back to the bottom of the report. Let's forget about the summary, Bwana Caleb, because I don't agree with what was presented in Parliament.
Okay.
Number 2, Penina is a typical Kamba girl. Born in the village, schooled in the village, both primary to secondary. And when you talk of Aslas in the Aslas cabinet, I think Penina is one of the Aslas in the Aslas cabinet. Somebody who was born in the village, she grew up grazing cattle. She grew up actually where we are chasing camels. That is where Penina has grown up. That's her life. She never went to Alliance like my friend here. She was not in these big schools where the English is taught.
It doesn't mean it did come from the village, but anyway, go on.
Yeah.
It will depend
so,
itself.
as you judge Penina, judge Penina as the only villager in the whole cabinet. And Penina is representing thousands of villagers in that cabinet. People who are so sharp, but if, in a way, you know, English is a foreign language. And imagine if even specialties, areas like doctors, if doctors, health was not taught in English, your grandmother will do as a better doctor than you. But because health is taught in English, you find all these professors, because they understand English, they are the best doctors. But they can't deliver someone who is who is delivering. But a grandmother who has never gone to school can deliver in Luo and tell you push in Jaluo and do everything right. And Miss was not born in hospital. He was midwifed by a grandmother who never went to any university to do medicine. So judging Penina from her presentation on tourism issues, for heaven's sake, that is too much.
That was the problem.
And take it from me, that point. Penina will not serve in tourism for the next 5 years. These ministers are interchanged. Tomorrow you will find her in another ministry. Duale will not serve in defense for the whole of 5 years. So it was not like professionals. If we are looking for professionals for a cabinet secretary who is a professional in that department, the Minister of Health would have gone for somebody who has done medical health. The Minister of Defense would have gone for someone who has done something to do with international relations, military. The Minister of Lands would have gone for a specialist in lands. But these are people who have other academic backgrounds, and they are trying to fit in a certain docket, which they will not work in for the next 5 years. Actually, you may find Penina working in 3 or 4 ministries before a term of 5 years ends. You may find Duale tomorrow in education, and he has done law. Today is in defense. So I think the matrix, what the committee was trying to judge Penina basing on, is what is wrong. The marking scheme is what is wrong. The students is right. That's what I would say. And bastardizing Penina is bastardizing the Kamba girl. This is our typical Kamba girl. We are proud of her. We are proud of what she did. And imagine Penina got 80,000 votes as the UDA women rep in Gitwe. She ranked the highest in terms of UDA votes. All of us were below her. So imagine if people could believe in her and vote for her up to 80,000 votes on UDA. Imagine the kind of strength she has in Ukambani. Kindly, I would ask Kenyans to leave our girl alone, let her work. The parliament approved her. Parliament absorbed her of all these things. And it's time we put this to our back and moved on.
Point made. Let's shift to the next question. President Ruto today hinted on one party after collapsing all these other parties into one. What do you make of that? And also, what's happening with Azimio?
Of course, it has been the wish of the president to have a unilateral, government where there are no coalitions around him and the one-party rule akin to Kanu days. I think he has gotten it. You see, ANC has disappeared in thin air. You've seen Moses Kuria's party in fact, he does not even know what his party is. If you ask Moses Kuria around, what is the name of your party, doesn't know anymore. You've seen Chap Chap. I don't know that it still exists, so I don't know that he has inherited. These parties have disappeared. That was his wish. But that one is destroying the gains that we made since the 1992 CAP 2 multipartism. When people have died, people have fought for introduction of multi-party so that people have the right to exercise their political thinking in a different party. Now it has been killed in one single stroke. It is dangerous for a growing democracy like Kenya. We may celebrate those who are in Kenya Kwanza. They are really happy. They have taken the government. They are celebrating. But in the long run, it's destroying a nation. Remember, we are a young democracy that needs, to be pampered. And one way was for somebody to come up and try to strengthen the political parties, maintain them, make coalitions, let people maintain their party, whether it is region, by age, demography, whatever reasons that brought them together. But do not destroy the gains that Kenyans have made all this time. In fact, the reason why people can speak freely, reason why himself was able to run around as a deputy president against his president was because of that freedom. So trying to muzzle the same prison that has made you where you are, I think it is the height of his insincerity, and we need to call it as it is. It is bad for the nation. I know those who are now enjoying the status quo, they'll not feel good that we are talking about these things, including our friend here. Very soon they'll be running to us. It will not take long. The same hustlers, the same people that brought them to power, they are the same ones that are going to take them down. And watch this space. There is no president in the world who has ever promised the low class more than our president has done. It is not so easy to certify the low class. You must do a revolution to the economy.
But why would that be a bad thing? Why would it be a bad thing?
It will be a bad thing if you can promise and you don't fulfill.
But he's just, what, 2 months in office?
Yes, but you remember the things
you're already saying he's going to fail.
You see, he has broken the 50% already. It is the same 2 months you're talking about, isn't it? 50-50 is gone. The hustlers, is telling them wait for 1 year for me to start thinking about hustlers. Whatever they were doing with Uhuru, you know, Kazi Mtaani is gone. Who does Kazi Mtaani? It's not him. He doesn't even hold a djembe. It's those low-class people. So I'm even warning him. Those, you know, they'll not come for us. They'll come for him, for his neck. It is him who has promised hustlers, as we didn't. They'll be coming for his neck asking him, where is this hustlers fund? Where is this wheelbarrow? I really pity my brother.
But there's this question of parties. I mean, I know you're independent, but it's pretty much the same thing. You know, the parties, one party is what people vote for, and people relate with the party, right? Yeah. What's the problem with that?
Clearly, I think if your party sponsored you to parliament, it is in good faith and actually good practice to remain with your party because that party sponsored you. But again, if the party you feel is not doing what you had agreed, for example, they promised the hustlers, and he feels that the hustlers are not taken care of, then he can say, no, I'm not going to stay with the coalition anymore because you're not keeping your promises. So is this other side. They made promises as Azimio. Unfortunately, they're not in power, so they can't keep their promises. But if a party sponsored you, don't kill the party by moving out of the party. And if you must move, then go back to Migori County and tell Migori County, you elected me on this party. And in our party, this is happening. And the people tell you, no, toka, hiyo ni mbaya. Then you come back to Bunga and say, I'm no longer with you, I'm sitting this other side. It is good practice, it is democracy. But when you just jump and people don't know why you have jumped and you've not explained to the people why you have jumped, then the mentality that people have is you have been bought. So those who are in their political parties practice that you belong to that party, you sold their agendas, and if you knew they were wrong, you shouldn't have gone to that party, you would have gone to this other party. So me, I would encourage that stick where you are. Me, I am independent, here I am, seated here lonely, independent here. So I think we should practice that. It is good for our growth. It also shows that you are strong in your faith. Because if today you're with Azimio, tomorrow you're with Kenya Kwanza, then Kenya Kwanza promises you maybe something, it doesn't deliver, you are in Kenya, you go back to Azimio. I mean, how will your people trust you? And even inwardly, what are you really a leader? Because a leader should stick to his or her words. And more so, you did not come to Bunge by one interview. You went through the whole constituency or county or ward talking about this party. And it is on that note that the people said, okay, kama ako ODM, I will give him and leave the Uda person. Or kama ako Uda, I will give him and leave this other party person. Right. So make it a practice that when you are elected a leader, people trust you. So you should also show the people that I am worth trusting by trusting yourself where you belong. We have enough time to evaluate your party before you join it. So by the time you are joining that political party and going through their nomination and campaigning and even buying those colors of clothes that you wear for those particular parties, you believed in their ideologies. Then the moment that party loses power, you run the other side. I can tell you, if it was Azimio in power today, most of these Kenya Kwanza people would be this other side. And me as a young person, I'm saying it is a bad practice. And Wananchi should watch them. If truly they move, they just go back to Wananchi and say, for this reason, I feel we should move. And then your constituency will tell you, we agree with you, Mheshimiwa, let us all move to that mrengo. But just coming on TV and we just see you have moved, we don't know why you have moved, I think it's unfortunate for democracy.
What would you have said about all this consolidation of, all the parties that support Kenya Kwanza into one party? Is it a good move? Is it problematic?
First, I don't recall the president talking of consolidating all the parties and coming up with one party.
That has happened. It's in record. I want to play the clip.
I would want to see the clip.
Okay.
I don't recall the president saying that.
So that is not
in
happening.
the beginning. In the beginning of the campaigns, at some point, the president believed in going it alone, UDA. But at some point, he changed his mind, because a wise man would always change his mind when better ideas come. And he welcomed all these other leaders and parties. And as you can see, as we speak today, Kenya Kwanza is a coalition with most political parties. Actually, it has more political parties within the agreement than Azimio. Then Kenya Kwanza, after gaining power, you can see all the political party leaders are in government, have senior positions. So it's not about killing a political party. Let's say, take for example, ANC. Our leader here, the Prime Cabinet Secretary. You know, you can't be a party leader and at the same time a public servant or a state officer. You have to relinquish party leadership. So we have seen today the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi has relinquished his position to the governor for, I think, Kilifi, something. So it's about the party leaders we had been used to relinquishing power or giving the party leadership positions to other people. The parties still exist. And no, these parties are vehicles to put the leaders and their ideas to power. And Kenya Kwanza, through William Ruto, has managed to bring together like-minded party leaders. We have the leader of PAR. Today is
Senate Speaker.
There's the Speaker for the Senate.
Yeah.
We have the Maendeleo Chap leader, Dr. Mutua. Today is
Foreign Affairs,
the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary. We have the DP leader, the Justin Muturi. Today is the Attorney General. So these parties, they've managed their objective. The objective these party leaders had to get into power and influence decision-making for the betterment of our country has worked. So the system William Ruto and the president is using, it's working. Nobody has killed anyone's party, not unless somebody wants to kill their party. You know, you can't kill your party unless you want to kill it. And there is that room. The other thing is we have to look into also, you know, we are now past campaigns. We can't be talking more of parties. Look at Kingi, the party leader for power. The position he holds is neutral. You can't be a party leader or you can't hold a party position ideologically and you are mediating a whole house, the Senate. Even he can't afford to be Kenya Kwanza or Azimio. He has to be neutral and serve members. So you will see a lot of talk about political parties diminishing. That does not mean parties have been killed.
Okay.
And I know it will not work. Our president and our leader, the Kenya Kwanza party leader, believes in democracy. And that's why whatever he promised to each and every party leader when they joined him, he has fulfilled. You know, when he talked of politics of deceit, politics of conmanship, come, I will give you this. And after we win, I don't give you. All these guys...
Explain to me, what does that mean? It's been very interesting. What is politics of conmanship? What does that mean?
The politics of conmanship is like what happened to Kalonzo Musyoka. You are told, come, you will be my deputy. Then when the time for deputy comes, go do an interview. Then the results, Kiramisi, are the ones taking Kalonzo through an interview. Then an interview, Kalonzo sits through an interview with Martha Karua, and Martha Karua becomes the winning candidate. For heaven's sake, that is conmanship. That is deceit. Okay. That is what Ruto was saying. We have to kill that politics because it has to go. It can't work. And it was the liberation. You know, the first liberation, we had the likes of Baba doing very well in the first liberation and the second liberation. But now the young generation, the generation of change, which has been brought by Ruto, has killed the politics of deceit. Look at what our big brother, the former president, did. Ruto goes around, builds Jubilee for him, and brings him to State House, brings him MPs, And what does he do? He kicks him out.
Okay, let's get a response from Khamisi. Is Azimio practicing these policies of conmanship?
I think he himself has just conned Kenyans right now, because whatever he said we did interview, the same thing that they did in Karen when they were choosing their deputy.
Well, it wasn't public. The difference is it wasn't public.
That's the difference. Of course, they are used to hiding their things. Their cars are always hidden. But they did the same thing. Rigathi Gachagua was taken through rigorous voting, vetting.
But having said that, it's a benefit of hindsight.
Githuri Kindiki, there were cries.
The benefit of hindsight.
Okay,
was it
if you
fair?
want to know the conmanship runs in their vein, in their exercise, there were cries loud. People cried. Kindiki Githuri had to hold a press conference. In fact, he refused to take any. He had to be called by Njuri Njeke, to calm him down after being harassed. Did you see any cry on Azimio? Did you see any? Did you see Kalonzo complain?
There was a lot of complaints.
Kalonzo complained about the agreement, not about the vetting of the results.
No. He at some point
complained about.
Actually, he said he will not go for the interview.
Let's be factual. He actually at some point said he will not go for the interview.
But and he eventually went.
Yeah, but so there was a public cry. So you cannot say.
But you see, that is not the results of after. We are talking about how fair this exercise is. When you want to see the exercise is fair, there's no cry. People are comfortable. Whoever wins carries a day is our man. But on the other side, people had a press conference. Some went to sabbatical leave. During Njeke were to be called. Goats were to be slaughtered to calm these people down. That's the results of conmanship. So I don't know why now he's turning it against a very good exercise that took place in full glare of the media. And the people are comfortable. You've seen Kalonzo and Martha Karua working perfectly well, and they have been public together. And the Kalonzo is there. You see he's leading the Azimio brigade very comfortably. He goes to Homa Bay with Azimio members of parliament. He holds press conference. He holds the government, with Azimio members. And Martha Karua is not there. Otherwise, it will be Martha Karua holding the press conference. So that's how we've, they're trying to paint Kalonzo in a bad light, but you've propped Kalonzo very well. And that's maybe his issue. We've tried to prop Kalonzo very well. He's leading us. We have no problem.
Does that mean Raila is retiring? Does that mean Raila is retiring?
Imagine a Messi propping Kalonzo.
Hang on.
But he's a Kenyan, and I'm a Kenyan. I have all the rights to prop anyone, including him.
Now you can prop Nimrod. You can prop Nimrod, but imagine a Messi propping Kalonzo.
Yes.
For heaven's sake.
What's the problem with Kalonzo?
What's the problem?
Kalonzo, one thing I agree with Kalonzo is all campus, we are in Wiper. I'm a Wiper member. I'm a live Wiper member. The only problem is Wiper issued the party ticket to someone else. And I wanted to run for the same seat. So I had to go to another party. All the campus subscribe to Kalonzo. When you touch Kalonzo, you've touched the campus. That is for true. And that's why I'm in serious war with my friend Caleb.
So should Kalonzo be the candidate for the next time, 2027? Should he be the candidate for the supporting?
And I've always, there's one thing I've stood with family. I don't believe Kalonzo working with Raila. That's where I differ with Kalonzo. When Kalonzo works with Raila is when I get a problem with him.
So should Raila
I believe in Kalonzo working alone.
So should Raila retire?
If asked, Raila, in politics,
he doesn't want Kalonzo to be the
politics, you invest a lot.
Because how can you say you prefer Kalonzo working alone? How do you work alone when you want to be a president? You can't.
I don't mean working alone, but I mean not working with Raila.
So what's the problem with Raila?
But he has lost 3 times working with Raila. So if you lose
I lost 2 times before I came here.
Raila,
you can't. I think that's a harsh judgment.
You lose a third time.
I think he's being very harsh.
You are pushed to a number, as in you are interviewed by a Messi so that you can be a running mate.
Okay, let me listen.
I'm not speaking for either side.
Because do we sit in such a situation? That's so much of humiliation.
The interview was not the interview should not be a problem.
Until that time, Kalonzo will stand alone and be seen as a leader. The way Raila is seen as a leader. The way Ruto went around this country as a leader. Kalonzo needs to stand out, needs to have a backbone, needs to have his own mind.
Yeah,
come out strongly. Say Raila, nitakuangusha. Ruto, nitakuangusha. Uhuru, kwenda nyumbani. That's the man we want to see. But all the time being behind Raila, it will never work.
Okay.
I think he's being harsh on his brother here. Because when you're saying that the moment Kalonzo will run alone and say Ruto nitakuangusha, Raila nitakuangusha, that is the time he will support Kalonzo, then he doesn't want Kalonzo to be the president. In Kenyan politics, and that is why His Excellency Ruto tried it, going alone with this single party, and he realized it is not working. So you have to form a coalition. The way the country has designed their politics now, you can only win through a coalition.
Okay.
The moment you try it with your party, remember every politics is local. Your party is your community. Your community cannot get you to State House. You have to work with other communities.
But
So
here's
stop taking us back.
Fatma, here's the thing, yeah. Raila tried 3 times the candidate, and it's not worked with Kalonzo. Should Raila retire? It's a straight question.
No, it would be unfair for me to talk on behalf of Raila. Because, first of all...
It's an opinion.
No, it's an opinion, but I would wish not to talk about... Raila, by age, is above me. By his political career, is above me. So imagine a nursery school student talking about a university graduate, that I think that doctor is not a good doctor. It would be unfair. I don't know what his plans are, and so I cannot speak for him. I don't have that authority. But I think we need a good opposition. Raila is now leading the opposition side. And we need him to lead the opposition side.
We don't need new ideas.
The government, new ideas are there. I am here. I am also leading.
As the leader of the opposition.
I am here too. I am not a leader of opposition, but I'm in an opposition where I belong to independent, where I sit in the middle. Just the way I'm sitting now, I am in the middle, and we are many. So I think new ideas doesn't have to come by the old idea dying. The old idea can still survive as the new idea comes. Because let me tell you, politics needs seniority too. As much as we are saying the young people should come up, but we need an older person to guide us too. Remember, all these politicians, including him, and even His Excellency Ruto, are students of Raila. So when you're saying a teacher should die for a student to perform, I think it is not right.
Okay.
So
Hamisi.
That's my opinion.
It's pretty much the same question. Benefit of hindsight. To lead a coherent opposition, against a much younger leader, who are 20 years younger than you. Should Raila just say, call it quits, let Kalonzo Martha Karua, as you say, lead the next frontier of opposition?
Yeah, but you see, leaders emerge. You don't pass the baton. I don't think even William Ruto got leadership from the late Moi. You remember, by inheritance, Rift Valley is supposed to be for Gideon Moi. By inheritance, is the heir apparent to the president of 24 years. But you see, it took Ruto's agility to take over that region. So leaders are not, you don't pass the baton. You leaders emerge. So if you think there is a deficit of leadership, then a leader will just emerge. You can't force Baba to pass the baton. To who? A leader will just emerge and take over the baton. You can't tell them that your days are now gone, you are numbered, I know you are tired. If Kenyans believe he is still capable, then you can't remove him. Remember, even this time, he had said, no, I don't want to vie. But it's the Kenyans who forced. You could not convince somebody like me that if Baba says so and so Tosha, then I will follow. No, because I believed in him. So the qualities I see in him, they are not in that person. I'll not go with him.
Okay.
So these leaders will emerge. It can be Caleb. You'll just find all of a sudden there is a young man who could have even believed Obama just emerged out of nowhere. And he took control of the most powerful nation. So leaders will emerge. Don't worry about the aftermath of Azimio. Don't worry about our future. Leaders will emerge. But for now, we still have Baba, helped by Kalonzo. As much as he despises him, Kalonzo is strong, man. He's strong. he will shock the world.
Okay. Let's go for this final round of questions. Yes, as you respond to him.
Yes, allow me to say this. Kenyans can't believe that Raila can hold William Ruto accountable. The age gap, the kind of politics, even the synergy, You know, we were used to Raila, who used to oppose Moi, and Kenyans could see serious opposition. We were used to
What
Raila.
has changed? What has changed?
The generational change, it's evident. You know, there is no way you can start now fighting with your own son. Something must be wrong, must be seen wrong in the synergy when you are fighting your own son. That's why you can see the likes of Kalonzo are a bit more active these days than Raila. Now look at Raila calling for a rally or something, saying yawezekana bila Ruto. The Ruto who Raila was sacking the other day as the agriculture minister. You know, it doesn't look good for him. It is unbelievable because people, Kenyans have to believe in you as a leader in what you are doing. Kenyans can't believe in Raila when Kenyans believe in Raila, by the way. But Kenyans can't believe in Raila when he is opposing or is providing opposition.
So from where you see Raila's best days are behind him.
Maybe they are not behind him. They may be ahead of him.
Politically.
Politically, yeah. You can't wish Raila away. You know, Raila has many lives. Take it from me. You can be shocked after Ruto's 10 years, you can see Raila back becoming the president, or somebody who is older than Raila becoming the president, and Raila providing opposition. But the days of it looks awkward, completely awkward for Raila to start demonstrating against William Ruto. Yeah. That's fighting your own son. It doesn't work.
In opposition, it doesn't work. You see, my brother is mistaken here.
It's not mistaken.
No, you see, we are not in war. I speak as opposition because I'm independent. We are not in war. When the government does good, me as a person, I will clap and say, well done. But when they do bad, and then maybe Raila sees it, maybe I see it, maybe somebody else sees it, including him in the government. We should not say that if we are talking, it is bad. If you are saying it will be bad for Raila to condemn the wrong, then
I've said it will look
bad.
In the eyes of Kenyans,
then so it would look
bad.
Then so it would look bad when Fatuma does it, because Fatuma is also younger to Honorable Ruto. Yeah. So I think when we are doing the oversight, which opposition should do, including the independent, let us go clean, because we are doing it for Kenya. We are not doing it for Raila. We are not doing it for Ruto. Okay. And sometimes things will go wrong without even the president knowing, until maybe when Fatuma will make noise and said, how did that happen? I want that cabinet here to answer that. So we are here as Kenyans. And even if you are in the government, do not support the wrong. You are in opposition when it is right. Yes. Support the right. Okay. For the benefit of all of us.
I do have 30 seconds. Caleb, have you emotionally gone through the loss? Are you finally settled?
We are still there. It's not easy. I know these guys are really happy that we are down on our feet, but we will come up. You know, in I think is this Malaysia or an Asian country, where things just went wrong in that country, and they had to take a former prime minister from his retirement to come and make things right.
You're hoping for this moment?
And no, I'm not hoping. I'm just saying these people are so complacent, just the way we were, that, you know, they're not even talking about, it's like there's been no election 2027. They're even not talking that next 5 years you have an election. They say after 10 years. They're so complacent and relaxed that, you know, we are going to serve 10 years. Now start talking about Raila after 10 years. I'm telling you, you know, this is about Kenyans, and when the citizens rise against you, you'll have no escape route. You know, you can't be confident. In politics, even one day is a lot of time. So I tell them, relax.
Things will change, relax.
Don't count 10 days, 10 years. This is 5 years, and the Kenyans are watching.
Thank you very much. It's a good place for us to end. Thank you very much for all of you to come. I'd like to see you again next week or the week after to see what current affairs brings to us. Wish you all the best and wish you well in representing us. We are watching Front and Center. Have a lovely night. My name is James Smart.